Looks like there was a fight here recently. I'm not picking up any House Mokai ships on the sensors, though. If they're here, they're under cloak.
Good to see you. Admiral Cabret, at your service. As you can see, we're dealing with an unexpected breakout of hostilities here. We came here to determine the status of a rather unusual variety of spore. As we were getting our bearings, a Ferengi marauder dropped out of cloak and unleashed hell. Afraid so. Fortunately, the Carter and Shurgat were able to respond before the Ferengi finished us off. Once they arrived, the Daemon pursued the better part of Valor and went back under cloak. Now that you're here, I believe the Ferengi will cut and run, assuming they're still out there hiding.
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm reading low-level radiation coming from a nearby asteroid. I think your Ferengi is out there harvesting spores, Admiral.
Take the Carter and Shurgat with you. The Ferengi will think twice about attacking a group of ships. And you might be able to put an end to all this without firing a shot.
The Carter is ready to assist you.
Lead the way, and the Shurgat will follow. Reading a single Ferengi vessel, Marauder class. They've decloaked!
I thought I made myself clear to that woolly-faced Starfleet Admiral. This salvage is mine and mine alone. Now run along before I'm forced to damage that pretty ship and take it as a prize. After all, even a damaged ship of that class will fetch a fine pile of latinum. That's what you get for doing your own thinking, friend. Allow me to show you the error of your ways. Leave enough of their ships for salvage. I'll be under cloak.
These Gorn must be desperate if they're working for a Ferengi.
Find something somewhere
Good news and bad news. Which would you like to hear first? Bad news, the Ferengi managed to harvest a spore colony from the asteroid before we arrived. He's got more than enough to make our lives difficult if he sells to Ja'ula. The Ferengi ship just dropped out of Cloak, and by the look of things, they're suffering a full propulsion system breakdown. No impulse, no warp, thrusters only. So, how do you feel about taking those spores off their hands?
Before you start, let me remind you that I have what you want, and it's one button press away from disintegration. You beamed out my spores! Not one, not some, but all my spores! I'm ruined! Oh, I don't suppose you're interested in a very promising business opportunity on Risa? Beachfront property?
We've got company, angry company. They're targeting us and the Ferengi.
Cutting out the middleman here, Modron. Give us the spores.
You treacherous!
Warning.
This deal gets worse by the minute! The nerve of some people! Do they not know the 16th rule of acquisition? A deal is a deal! Ah, but you're not a barbarian like those... Never mind. Now, don't be so hasty, my classy, well-armed friend. Before you haul me off, let me tempt you with a one-of-a-kind offer. That Rysian timeshare I mentioned earlier, plus a full barrel of Tranya. 2386 vintage. That's easily worth my weight in latinum. I'll add a cask of pre-supernova Imperial Romulan Ale.
The Birmingham is ready for action. And not a moment too soon. It looks like Modron's treacherous friends are coming back for a rematch.
I can honestly say I had nothing to do with these ships coming to kill us. They're doing it all on their own. You aren't going to let them kill me, are you? I'm helpless. You have to protect me.
Why are you defending that Ferengi worm? He's not worth dying for.
down to a few ships. Keep up the pressure. Well fought indeed. They'll think twice about coming after us again. I'll let Alliance Command know what happened here today. If Jeula or any of Modron's friends try to harvest the spores in this system, we'll make sure they have a nice welcoming party waiting for them. Modron's on his way to a Federation holding facility. We will make sure he faces justice for what he's done here today. Rest assured.
The Klingons think House Mokai forces are up to something in the Imaga system. I understand there was a problem with a planet killer in that system a while back. Interesting. Oh, where was I? Right, Imaga. In addition to a lot of debris and the ruins of this planet killer, there are spore colonies there. And House Mokai is probably harvesting them, so we should put a stop to that real soon. Getting some unusual readings from the spore colonies in this system. They're mutating at an accelerated rate, absorbing and emitting some nasty radiation as they do so. Right, well, the spores are growing on the debris of this doomsday machine, which is where all of that radiation is coming from. This is a problem. The radiation is bleeding into the mycelial network through the spores. It'll cause serious damage if we don't deal with it soon. Hate to say it, but we need to cull the mutated spore colonies before the damage to the network is too great to reverse. We do not want to get hit by those radiation pulses. Trust me. Watch out! Mokai Raiders on an intercept course. Let's deal with the next spore colony before the Mokai send reinforcements. Colony neutralized. Let's head toward the next one. Picking up Mokai ships on long-range sensors. We're about to have company.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Destroy these fools and take back what is rightfully ours! Comply!
Warning, ship is under attack. We will rid the stars of these honorless rebels for the Empire!
Glad the newest Klingon arrivals are on our side.
The rebels are traitors. Let us dispose of this Wachtar and be done with it. Did you see how Ja'ula ran?
Is it me, or do most forms of Klingon justice ultimately end with screaming in Grethor? You know, never mind. I think I know the answer to that. Look, as long as House Mokai isn't polluting and destroying the mycelial network, I'm good.
The long-range sensor arrays in the Traelus system went offline recently. Last thing they picked up before that happened was a Borg scout ship. I'm heading to Traelus now to investigate. If this is the beginning of a new Borg incursion, I could use some backup. Meet me there as soon as you can. Until next time.
Frozen wastes of Rurapenthe, the Klingons have built an empire that values strength, honor, and skill in combat. To be Klingon is to be a warrior. Fight well, live with honor, die with a blade in your hand. If you can do these things, you will live forever in the stories of the great Klingon heroes.
Thanks for coming. Been a while. You look well. Considering what I hear about your exploits, that's an impressive feat. Back to business. Spotting a Borg scout here made a lot of people nervous, and with good reason. So, some old friends called in a favor, and here I am. I came here looking for Borg, but the real problem turned out to be Sabotage. Orion smugglers fouled up the long-range array, but they left the short-range sensors intact. I have plenty of evidence from the sensor logs to turn over to Alliance officials. Still a concern. If they're sizing up this quadrant as an incursion zone, we need to know about it. I have a few ideas on upgrading the sensor arrays, making them harder to disable and better at spotting Borg. Beam me over and we can sort out the details. With your assistance, I can complete the modifications quickly. Good. Now that we have a working array, our next step will be initiating the new security protocols. Reading a massive energy surge. We're being scanned.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Oh, that was unpleasant. Still, there are no damage reports, no casualties. Scanning. This is unexpected. According to astrometrics, we were catapulted several hundred light years from Traelus to the Excalian system. Here's some facts to go along with those legends. In the 23rd century, Excalians abducted the USS Enterprise and subjected some of her crew to a series of combats. Some sort of morality test. Feels that way to me. I doubt they dragged us all the way out here to have a Ractogino and talk about baseball. There's one way to find out for sure. Hail them and see what they want. I can boost the signal once the ship is in a standard orbit. Assuming the Excalians are in a talking mood, we should have answers soon.
We are receiving your signal. On behalf of the Excalian people, I bid you welcome. Yes, I suppose that would be a bit of a surprise. You'll pardon me for that, I hope. Some time ago, I met and fought beside one of your own, Captain James Kirk. Under the circumstances, we felt seeing a familiar face would make this meeting go a little smoother. That is a complicated matter, I'm afraid. I think it would be easier to discuss it face to face. We prepared a meeting ground on the surface of Excalibur. It meets your needs for atmosphere and climate, as I understand them. Will you join us there? Welcome, friends. I do hope the local climate is to your liking.
The climate's fine. It's our abduction that we have a problem with, friend.
My apologies. It was not an action of my choosing, I can assure you.
Your presence is required for a matter of great importance.
Greater than conversations with dead presidents?
Long ago, the two of us were involved in a study, if you will.
An evaluation of two concepts, good and evil. The initial results were ultimately inconclusive.
The debate has continued since that time.
We now seek a final resolution.
What does that have to do with us, exactly?
You have been chosen as advocates for the concept of good.
But you will not face it alone.
Hello. Looks like we have a lot of work to do here.
That's putting it mildly.
You have questions. I will attempt to clarify our intentions. In this trial, you will be accompanied by associates that we have created for you. You will confront a variety of situations in opposition to evil forces. Your actions will be judged, as will those of your opponents. The prevailing concept will guide us as a people. We shall pursue the virtues of good, or the vices of evil. We find violent conflicts produce pure examples of good and evil. They provide the best results to evaluate and judge. Failure to participate will be seen as your endorsement of the supremacy of evil. The trial will then conclude with a judgment in favor of evil, and our subsequent pursuit of the concept as a guiding principle. The trial awaits you. Proceed through the portal behind me when you are prepared.
I think we need to be cautious when dealing with the Excalians. They're a lot like Q, minus a sense of humor. Fashion sense could use a little work, too. For now, I say we play their game and stay in one piece. Look for opportunities to swing things in our favor. Our new teammate here might have some insight into the situation as well.
Michael Burnham, of the USS Discovery. Judging by your uniforms, I'd say I'm in the future. The last thing I remember was preparing for battle with my crew, and the crew of the Enterprise. Since we're having this discussion, I'm guessing we won that fight. My apologies, my memory's a bit fuzzy. Possibly a side effect of whatever brought me here. Over 150 years. Fascinating. Right. I'll catch up later. Assuming we get through this trial in one piece. To address your original question, I wish I had all the answers, but I know as much as you do. Going through this trial will give us the chance to conduct some tests of our own, learn more about them and the situation here.
Take heart, my friends. Yarnik has a forceful personality, but his voice is not the only one heard here. There are many Excalians who would embrace virtues before vices. Well said. And as one of your allies here, I have a warning for you. The trials are drawn from your past experiences and records, but they will not be identical recreations. There will be alterations to test your responses and those of your opponents. Expect the unexpected. Please accompany me. Beyond that portal, the first trial awaits. Good luck, my friends.
My tricorder's showing a Class M tropical biome. By the look of things, this world is under attack. I'm reading a lot of weapons fire from several locations in the area.
This is a safe position for now, but that could change soon. We need to get to cover fast. I see a plaza ahead. And casualties. Enemy forces may be in the area.
This didn't happen long ago. Some of the bodies are still warm. When did this take place, originally? I don't recognize the uniforms on these Vulcans. Romulans? You're serious? Those are Romulans. This is a lot to take in. The Romulans are... I clearly have a lot of catching up to do. But the middle of a war zone isn't an ideal place for a history lesson.
These Romulans are Tal Shiar, members of a covert military intelligence force. Their list of enemies is long. Any number of them could be responsible for this attack.
This one was killed by heavy plasma weaponry. Strange. I'm also reading trace amounts of several exotic particles in the area. Antiproton, tachyon. Whoever else was in this fight used some extremely advanced weapons.
Makes sense. The Iconians were allies of the Tal Shiar at this time. They were probably fighting at their side. This may be one of the unexpected changes Lincoln warned us about. Iconians arriving here early.
Some kind of constructs. They're using anti-proton weapons.
Heralds.
Those were Iconians?
Heralds are augmented servants of the Iconians. They're used primarily as shock troops. We've encountered them before, but if they're here now, things are worse than expected. There's a tactical force field blocking our way. That looks like the emitter over there. Should be simple enough to destroy it. And Heralds fighting Reman combat squads. Wonderful.
So, these Remans, they're on our side. Good to know.
You there! I would speak with you. The lab is not far from here. If we can fight our way past them... Your timing is fortuitous, my old friend. My resistance forces are closing in on Hakiv's laboratory, but he has opened an Iconian gate. The Iconians have sent their minions to aid Hakiv, but all is not lost. We can still stop them. The lab is not far from here. If we can fight our way past the guards, we can put an end to all this. And Hakiv. Excalians? No, Iconians. Hakiv has brought them here. They're putting up quite a fight. I'll need all the help I can get to stop him. Will you help us?
Looks like there's another tactical force field blocking the way. This Hakiv really doesn't want to be interrupted, does he?
It may not be in an obvious place. Check the nearby buildings and rooftops.
Excellent. Hakiv has holed up in the south like the cornered vermin he is. Once we're near his position, I can set up a jamming field to prevent him from beaming out. Then we can bring him to justice, at last.
You might be able to block transporters, Obasek, but I doubt you can block a functional Iconian gate. As long as that remains open, Hakiv will be able to escape. Deal with the gate first, then you can talk about justice all you want.
go!
So good of you to join us today. I've dreamed of ridding the galaxy of your stench for some time. And now, with the Iconians at my side, that dream shall become a reality.
This ends now, Hakiv. No amount of Iconian or Tal Shiar scum will stop me. Blood calls for blood.
We have bigger problems. The Iconian gate is still online, remember? Hakiv can bring in Iconian reinforcements as long as it is.
Then let's shut it down. Keep Hakiv and his forces busy while we work, or this trial will end real soon. And not in our favor.
Has a stealth field. Spread out. Find him.
You think you've stopped me? The Iconians already know. They know everything.
I don't care. Blood calls for blood, Hakiv.
No, not like this. You're better than this. If you do this, it won't be justice. It'll be murder. You don't have to do this.
He must pay for what he's...
All right, what's the call? Help Obasek or catch Hakiv?
Obasek's in bad shape. He needs field surgery right now, or he's not going to make it. I can't do that.
Hakiv's getting away. If he leaves through a gateway, he could return with enough Iconians to finish us off. Do you want to pursue him?
Rest easy, friends. This part of the trial has reached its conclusion. There's a portal nearby. Use it to return to Yarnak. He wishes to review the results of the trial.